One. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Shift. It's a blessed day. Please
Happy
make sure.
Sunday.
Happy Sunday. There you go. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, buy us a coffee, send us a note. We've been getting some of the fan mail. It's been so sweet. We'll do something later on this year, at the end of the year, to wrap up with it. But yeah, communicate with us. We love to hear it, and we love for you to tell your friends about us because we are a labor of love, but we are growing, and we appreciate y'all, every single one. Tanya, how was your week?
Well, for me, this week was the week of crochet. So
I love it.
first, first, I finished my blanket.
Hmm.
I
It
made
looks so
for,
good. You did that?
yes. I
That's an accomplishment. I wouldn't, you couldn't tell me nothing if I did that.
yeah, I started it when I went on my I don't know if I told you I went on a cross country trip on Amtrak after my mother died. And I started it then, and it's taken me almost 6 years to finish because I pick it up and I put it down, and then
Yeah,
I use and it warms me up on cold nights while I'm crocheting or watching movies. But I finally finished it
it's
last
so
Sunday.
nice.
Yeah, it's so thick. So when I told my grandma, she's like, "Oh, you got to make me a hat and stuff." So I'm like, "Okay." So in order to practice, I made my own hat last night
It looks good. You did that. You
so
did
that
that
I'm
in one
wearing
night?
this today. Yeah, I started at like 5 and I finished it maybe about an hour or so ago. But yeah. So now I'm going to be ready. I ordered special merino wool for my grandma, so I'll be ready to make her a hat, and then I'm going to make her an infinity scarf. So, but this
I
is
want to
my hat
scarf.
for me.
Look, I'm like, I want to scarf. Everything, if you're like if you're like a person who just like listens and doesn't watch, it looks so good. Come look on YouTube at all of Tanya's creations because they look great.
Yeah. These are cool because this yarn had like special little glitter
Hmm.
thread through it. So I was like, oh, this is neat.
Yeah.
Might wear it at a holiday party this weekend. So
I am in Wisconsin. You can tell from my background. It is cold. It is snowy. It is loud around me. My nephew just ran through, and I think if anybody like knows people who like if you work from home and your family's not used to it, I really do think that sometimes they like come through when they see me on my computer. Like, so what's going on in there? Um,
they're like, we
so
know she's doing something. Let's interrupt.
but yeah, so I don't think I even told you, because I'm here, I wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be in DC, but some stuff got canceled for work. I'm actually done with work for the year next Friday, but some stuff got moved around, canceled. So I am going to see Stephen Bradford tomorrow for Stone Cold and the Jackal. They're going to be at the
Oh,
Milwaukee
nice.
Improv. Yeah. So like, well, I'm here and it's happening. Might as well. So excited to do that. I think I think maybe it's like a comedy. I don't know what they do. Um,
Hmm.
so I'll report back next week and see if they gave any tea. Now, the problem with Stephen Bradford, which always makes me laugh, is Steve specifically never knows what's going on with the show. So like other people, you go like see them, you're like, oh, maybe I'll get like some tea. Maybe I'll figure out what's happening. Steve don't know. And he ain't shot it. And even when he shoots it, he like, I don't really know how I fit into the larger story. So, you know, whatever.
Well, at the very least, I hope he knows what's going on with him and Britt.
Well, we'll see.
Well,
Um, we'll see. So yeah, I'm doing that. But yeah, I finished up a 42-page report from a retreat, from a 3-day
ooh,
retreat. When I just put the finishing touches on it last night, I was finishing it up and like editing while I was watching Stranger Things. So I have
uh,
finished this last drop. I just feeling very accomplished. I was telling Tanya that before we got on, I was like, okay, I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna get dressed, I'm gonna do this and that. Most of my day was accomplished. So there you go. Well, let's hop into GH because I am excited to talk about it with you. Um, let's get into it. Who was your performer of the week?
I had multiple. So, um, first, this was definitely the week of the guest actor. And so I'm
Hmm.
happy to see the actors that play Kevin and Esme and Cyrus and Selena Wu all last
Period.
week. Even though I
Hmm.
might not have been a fan of what they were up to, I still enjoyed seeing them. Um, Shout out to Brooke Kerr for kicking ass,
My girl.
kicking names. Shout out to Finn Carr for reading his
Excellent.
dad for Phil. So shout out to even though Dante is behaving way badly, even though he is kind of justified, he's still very mean when he wants to be. But shout out to Dominic Zambrogna. And
Spoiler
then
alert. I'm 80% on Dante's side. Sorry, go ahead. Who's the
you
last
said
one?
that last time, so it's not spoiler. And then, you know, sh extra shout outs to Jeannie Francis and Carlo Rota. Carlo is being very, very bad, but he's so cool at it. It's just, ugh. And then Jeannie, always, man,
Yeah.
phenomenal. So they're really, she's having a hard time, and she's playing it very well. So yeah,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Hmm
This was this is a good week. I agree with you on all those performances. I also want to add, and I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, I want to go see him. I really enjoyed Bradford. It feels like we don't get to see Spinelli that often, but when they
Uh-huh.
break him out, it's always emotional.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean, if you
enjoyed
want to
that.
think about it, if you want to think about it, it's like Cat Daddy and Bradford are also kind of guests because they're not
Yeah,
on 100% of the
yeah,
time. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. A very good
Hmm
use of guest actors.
Yes.
Um, it also just reminded me, obviously, I hated Esme. Um, I did find a little humanity in her a little bit towards the end. Not enough to overcome all that racist stuff they had her do. And unfortunately for her, that's why she had to go. I think that if they hadn't taken her so far, she probably could have been redeemed, but couldn't have been redeemed for me. But I do, despite that, very much love Avery Pohl. I was hoping that we would have had a situation where she was a twin and she would have come back. Um, the part of the problem is that we didn't want her to play boring. We needed her to be a little spicy and to like differentiate between her and Esme. We would have needed her to be like kind of a good girl. Um, anyway, that to say, I just enjoy Avery Pohl. Would love to see her doing some other things. I think she's such a talented young actress. So
Mhm.
hopefully we see her pop up in other things as somebody who is not, a monster. So yeah, want to be real clear. Love me some Avery, hate me some Esme. Um, let's get into the week. Let's talk about story by story. Let's get into a recap of the Quartermain holiday.
Mhm.
Obviously, Chase wants to cook, and I mean, I think we already touched on Michael being like, ain't messing with you. But
Yeah.
Chase did actually do well in the kitchen, and somehow they were like, but they're still a curse. And so they decided to take it to GH and donate it to the hospital. We got like some Monica mentions. Um, I liked it. I thought it was cute. I thought I loved seeing Leo. I was like, oh, we breaking everybody out.
Yeah.
I love the misdirect with supposedly Outback eating the turkey and they didn't.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I liked them getting the pizza from Tracy. I loved that Gio came by. I love their singing. How did you feel about the cute Thanksgiving?
I thought it was great. I think they could have used Easton a little bit more because the fun thing about Leo when he's
Hmm.
on the show is that he is very honest And it was always hilarious to see him interacting with Nina because he would just basically tell her the
Read her
truth.
down.
He would read her. And so I was like, we didn't get to see much of that this year. I mean, he's usually hilarious when he's on the show. And I mean, yes, it was kind of a twist, I suppose, having him be vegetarian, but it's still
Cute.
kind of like, and it's not surprising because he's always loved animals. You know, he loved the art and all this other stuff. So it's not surprising that he would be
Hmm.
vegetarian. It would just threw them all for a loop because then they don't know what to feed him. And then,
Right.
but at the same time, I still felt like he could have had a little bit more because I probably would have loved him interacting with Willow now that she's in a different place in the family.
Yes.
Imagine him having something to say, even innocently say about that. That would have been
Yeah.
hilarious. But
Like
and
how
it
weird it
was
is that she's marrying Drew.
yeah. So like, how come you sleeping with my uncle? Something like that, you know? Like, why are you mad? Didn't you leave him at the altar the first time? Like, he would have said something really honest that would have been like, you don't know what to say. But no, that didn't happen this year. It's not too late, I guess. They're still kind of in Thanksgiving, so maybe Willow comes to see her kids after, and he just says something off the
Maybe
wall.
Christmas.
Maybe Christmas. I don't know. But other than that, it was a cute Thanksgiving story.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that would have been my only critique.
Yeah. We do have Brooklyn and Geo getting closer.
Hmm.
So I'm of two minds of this. I enjoy Brooklyn and Geo as characters. I think that those actors have really great chemistry. And I love Geo as a Quartermain. I am generally delighted to see Geo. I think he brings such a light to the screen. Geo as the actor and the character brings such a light to the people he's around. I'm a fan. And I just, I don't need another situation where a parent walks on eggshells around their kid. I we'll get into Dante maybe a little bit later when we talk about like Mob Hospital, but I remember there was a point where Brooklyn had said to Dante, I'll put aside everything. I want you to have a relationship with Gio, blah, 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 blah. And essentially now she's kind of throwing Dante under the bus and being like, there's not the balance of, no, you was wrong, bro. Like it's all like Dante shouldn't have said that to you. And now he is getting closer to Brooklyn because he feels that she's on his side. And he actually does need to know that you're kind of wild. So that's one mind, but the other mind is like, I just don't want to see them in drama anymore. So, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, but how are you feeling about them?
I like the thawing,
Hmm.
and it doesn't necessarily surprise me that it's still tentative, because it's still so new. I kind of feel like yes, she's not necessarily chastising him too much. But I think she does say, yes, you've made some mistakes, but I think she feels that Dante is being too harsh, which I do kind of agree with. Not to say that he's not justified, but some he just says some really hurtful things. And
Hmm.
then gets sensitive when someone says it back to him. I'm like, you don't even recognize that you do it yourself, but hey. But I like that, that relationship is fine. I do think they have great chemistry together. I'm looking forward to them being close as a mother and son because I'm missing that element that Brooklyn has when she's not with her mom. So her mom's gone. So she doesn't have that kind of now kind of loving relationship now, and I'm looking forward to her sharing that with Geo.
Hmm.
Liking it, love it was a very cute, well, heartwarming scene that they had together. Now whether or not she'll continue to um protect him in the same way when she feels like when she finds out everything he's done. I really do think Geo has taken it too far. Like they haven't learned at all after what happened this week. I was not in agreement with him at all. But still lucky that he at least has somebody. Well, he has a lot of people. He has his grandfather and he has Sonny and all this other stuff. But the mom and son relationship, I do like that they are repairing it. So
I agree with that because they
yeah,
were close anyway. It wasn't like they were
yeah,
building a relationship from scratch.
right.
Dante did seem like somebody Gio knew he was
Mhm.
like family, like distant family, but
Yeah.
Dante had kind of like moved away when he grew up. Whereas
Hmm.
to Brooklyn had always been in deep relationship with Gio
Hmm.
and kind of babied him in all the ways. I mean, I baby my little cousins too, so that's not a bad
Hmm.
thing. Been like babied him in that like loving mother auntie sort of way even afterwards. So it's
Hmm.
not a leap in their relationship for it to be maternal because it's always how she's in some ways like felt about him. Whereas to
Hmm.
Dante, that is a little bit of a leap in their relationship. Brooklyn like babysat Geo. Dante was like, "Your mama gave you to me," and I was like, "Ooh," you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, so it not only does there need to be more repair between him and Dante, but also
Hmm.
they don't have that natural rhythm anyway.
Hmm.
Um, so I do agree. I also think, I mean, I want to stick a pin into because I want to get deeper into like what they did when we talk about it. But I think for me, Dante, um, it, it becomes really clear that Geo is what Brooklyn might look at as her only chance of being a mother, which I don't think is true. She can
Hmm.
adopt and all of that. Whereas to
Hmm.
like Dante is also looking at like this is like my young son, and you we in like the relationship that you've been building seems to have put him at risk. I don't agree with
Hmm.
Dante on all of that, but I think that that's the way he's looking at it.
Hmm.
But let's stick a pin into it until we get into the spy hospital stories. I do want to get into that deeper. Um, so we're still into Who Shot Drew, and it kind of like dovetails into the Q Christmas or Q Thanksgiving because we
Uh-huh.
have Michael who knows that it's happening, going and like being a creep actually through the window. to, like look at the wedding. And we have Drillo actually getting married. Yikes. We also have, I will say this. So Nina kind of goes to Willow and is like, and I was surprised Lisa wasn't there. But Nina goes to Willow and is like, look, if you want to go, you can go. You don't need to give me anything, you don't need to do anything. Like, if you're trying to go, like he is not the only person you have, let's bounce. And Willow kind of speaks up and shows, though she's a dummy, she also does have some agency in the situation. And that she is thinking not correctly, but strategically. And I believe that if I'm dating Drew, if I'm with Drew, when I go to court, I have a congressman on my arm that's going to help me with my kids. I have the victim on my arm saying I didn't shoot him. It's going to help my case. That is what Willow is believing. Um, and so at least we don't have her being like blind and stupid,
Hmm.
like she was the last time she was going in.
Hmm.
I was not moved by her conversation with Scout. Well, I mean, it's not for me to be. I'm obviously a Sam fan. Obviously, constantly miss Sam. Can see the points on this canvas where she should be there. But her, like, you're like your mom, and da, da, da. Willow ain't thought nothing about Scout. Willow went off on Drew in front of Scout at the last wedding. Willow, when she could have allowed the women in her life, in Scout's life, to see Scout, when Drew was laid up in that coma, didn't allow that to happen. I'm not moved by Willow pretending like she cares about Scott. So anyway, how did you feel about the wedding? How do you feel about the Willow and Scout relationship? Like what are your
Hmm.
thoughts?
I mean, I think she's like kind of like a soft landing in comparison to Drew. I mean, for some reason, Alexis is like, well, at least Scout has Willow in that relationship. But you're right. I mean, if I was Alexis, I wouldn't necessarily trust Willow any more than Drew because Willow is willing to let Drew still make all these bad decisions and not push back on him, which she has the power to do. Drew cares about her as much as he says he does, then he would
Hmm.
listen to her when she says what you're doing is wrong, and she's not willing to tell him that what he's doing is wrong. Um, in terms of, yeah, one of the hot takes that I had during that scene was that how come Scout didn't question Willow more? Like, you married my dad, or you said you were going to marry my dad. You said we were going to be a family, and then you left him at the altar. How am I to trust that you're not going to do that again? Like, that
Right.
would have been the four, she doesn't even have to know the details of everything, but to at least say, why are we doing this again when you didn't do it the first time? Is a valid question for a girl her age because she's asking all
Hmm.
kinds of questions to everybody else, but she's not questioning her dad or Willow about whether or not this marriage is working and why are you putting me through this again?
Right.
That's that was me, so that was I thought, man, Michael skulking through the Willow. Okay, my hot take. First of all, those are huge windows.
Right.
In order to get through, in order to walk to the end where he was, someone would have had to seen him. And even they were standing, Drew was facing the window. If he didn't
Hmm.
see Michael skulking in the corner, he definitely would have seen Michael walking away. I was just
Right.
like, that was wild to me that no one noticed,
Hmm.
quote unquote, noticed. Maybe Ryan did notice and just didn't say anything, and he's gonna put it in
Ryan.
his, or not Ryan. Sure, Drew did notice, and he's not going to say anything, and he'll say something later. But it was really like wild to have the audience somehow get away with thinking that Michael did it sneakily and nobody noticed. That was crazy to me. But also it made him go down a notch because in his feelings about Drew and Willow, he always seemed like the cooler person to me, the more reasonable person. And for him to just kind of stalk through the window, I was just like, oh, you're not so cool. You're a little weird. I mean, that was just the way I found it. He explained it away the next day. It's like, I just had to see it for myself. Be like, you didn't have to see it for yourself. You could have been like, oh, so it really happened. He could have got confirmation from the news. He could have got confirmation from Alexis or any other people. He didn't have to see it, but he did. He went and stalked like a weirdo. And I saw a meme that somebody put out with Michael looking through the window with a clown nose on his face. That was some clownish behavior. I
Yeah,
was like,
it
damn.
was funnish. Well, I will say, okay, so I'll say a couple of things. One, I do really enjoy the show. Look, I am
Yeah.
still enjoying the show. Two, there are like strange gaps.
Hmm.
And it's not like I am really clear about what we're watching. I'm clear that we're watching a soap opera in 2025. There are budgetary constraints, there are things that you can't do. And so I'm not the kind of person that's like, for example, why do we have this person or that person? I'm imagining that Lisa wasn't at the wedding because money, right?
Yeah.
So like these are
Right.
not the kind of things, but there are storyline things that I think are actually very important. I think about if y'all keep pushing it to the fact that he's a congressman that was almost assassinated, then like he should have some security.
Mm.
Michael shouldn't even be close enough to that window.
Right.
Like it should actually be a story in like Aurora. These people should be like running a story that basically like slanders Drew and Willow.
Hmm.
That's what Curtis should be doing to be like, yo, this is wild, actually.
Yeah.
And Alexis had even pointed out, I told them that this would look bad. That Willow has this strategy around marrying Drew because she thinks whatever, whatever. I told her that would look bad. That is what like Curtis and all of them should be picking up on and running, especially because Michael owns Aurora.
Hmm.
So it's just like those kind of gaps are like the things that actually don't cost money that are really glaring when they like show things.
Hmm.
I want to go back to your point about Scout because I think it actually is really, really true. They use Scout as like a young girl prop. They treat
Hmm.
her and they have her act essentially as Donna. and
Hmm.
Scout is too old to be used in that way. What is happening to Scout is one of the like saddest and most like cruel things that we've seen in a very long time. Because when it was like there's a difference between Drew being a bad parent because he doesn't know better, because like he's overbearing, or because he really does think Danny is dangerous, or he does think that Alexis is dangerous, versus him being the kind of parent that would leverage his grieving daughter, because it's only been a year,
Hmm.
his grieving daughter having a relationship with his mother, or with her mother's side of the family. It's actually like really cruel and very disgusting. And there has to be somebody who is like a truth teller who will say that. And not just like a Alexis or people who are in it, but like an observation of like, this is like beyond that.
Hmm.
When we got Cameron's Drew back on the show, he was like etching Scout's name into a wall, like as that was keeping him like alive and sane. Fast forward to now, he's treating her as a pawn in his revenge games, even though she's hurting and grieving. And we know he knows better.
Hmm.
It's not as if he thinks particularly around Alexis and her family, he does not think they're dangerous. So to me, I like we need more from Scout being able to. Do you hear that noise in my background? Okay, good. Because it's very loud and they're acting like I'm not in here. But um we need more from Scout being able to like have an actual like problem. I mean, my nephew's in the background, he's 3. He might have a problem with this, and he's 3. Scout's what,
Right.
9, 10, whatever it is, like old enough where y'all need to give her a personality, where you need to give her the ability, because like all she said was, I hope that they're happy so that I basically my dad can be happy and like let me go see my family.
Right.
We need Scout to like be mad. Charlotte was putting snakes in people's purses. Scout is Sam McCall's kid.
Yeah.
Let's allow her to act that way.
Yeah. Totally agree. She's definitely old enough and aware enough to be able to say something. And if
Right.
if she's being ignored, then to act out, which is what kids do. And she's not doing enough of it. So yeah, have
Unless
her
they really
react.
do, unless they really do, and I don't want to see it, unless they really do have Scout being the person who actually shot Drew.
Hmm.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, I
Like,
mean, yeah. I mean, because she hasn't really, except for the whole running away from camp, she hasn't really had a chance to respond to anything that has happened to her. She's definitely experienced some trauma. She's definitely due to respond to it. And so
right.
we'll see.
We shall see.
Hmm.
Well, around the wedding, we have Kai who says that he is not staying for it. He was like, have the day you deserve. Like, I will say, it was beautiful. It was laid out. I was like, oh, where we get this flower budget from? GH? This looks nice.
Last
And,
minute
because
flower
I be
budget too.
right, because I'll be watching like days, and I'll be like, "Ooh, this set is." So I said, "Okay, GH, I see you with a little
Hmm.
pizzazz." Um, I guess it's because Sunny got a 1-story house, so this is
Yeah.
like they can afford the flowers. Um, so yeah, that's what we got. They're married. We will see what happens next. Drew is still hell bent on revenge. Willow is still hell bent on stupid, and that's what we got.
Yeah.
We do have you brought this up, Michael and Jacinda. So Michael leaves the wedding and from stalking outside, goes to the brown dog. I guess that's the new hangout. and sees Jacinda, and they have a drink together. And I mean, we already knew they had chemistry. We already know Michael is like not judgmental in these ways. I'm not surprised that they are pushing them towards like romance. She was like, let's get out of here. He's like, oh, do you want to go to dinner? She was like, sorry.
Nah. I want to go bound chicka round round at my place. And my hot take about that was I'm glad we got to see Michael getting it on and not Willow and Drew. So, because
Because
I
no
did
one wants to
not
see
want to
it.
see that. No one wants to see it. Not anymore. So,
Mm-mm. Terrible. Um, so I like them. I know people are
hmm
calling them Musenda. I was like, I would like to call them my Cinda, but I don't think I have that kind of power. And, and I also, I'm holding out for Misha. That's just been my first. That's my favorite Michael ship. I did not go because like last week, Rory and Sophia had a Zoom.
uh
And I couldn't go because like family stuff. But I did hear, and I'm careful about what I hear too, because people got all kind of rumors, but I did hear that Sophia is like willing and wants to come back. And
hmm
basically like has said that whenever they figure out what they're gonna do with Robert, she's hoping that she gets to like and like Robert and with Daisy, she's hoping that
hmm
she's able to come back.
Yeah.
So I like Jacinda, I like my Cinda. But we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah. I think I like Jacinda and Michael together. Yeah, and I still have hope for definitely for Sasha, especially since she has a baby. I think eventually it'll happen, just maybe not as soon as I would have liked. But they love me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So in we have Nina versus Portia.
Ava was
Ava,
She
I can't
is
even.
so wild. I mean, okay, so I'll do the recap while Tracy laughs.
It's so
So
chaotic.
they were at the Brown Dog. Everybody was at Brown Dog on Thanksgiving. And Ava and Nina were, sitting around talking. And Ava was like, I'm just gonna be real with you. I told Portia that you threw her under the bus. And she basically told Nina, you need to, square up on that because my favorite line is, we ain't got enough friends. We can't afford to throw one away.
Come on.
And I was like, that is true. And so she told Nina, you need to, talk to Portia about it. And then she didn't tell Portia she was there with Nina. Portia was like, where are you at? I'm coming to meet you. And basically went to the Brown Dog and saw Nina and Ava together. And Ava was like, y'all ain't have it out. Go. And it was just funny. I loved it.
So I did have to comment on like a post every once in a while. I don't do it all the time, but every once in a while I'll post a comment on social media posts. Hold on. The children are just talking in the background. This is the chaos of being the holidays, if you will.
Mhm.
Um, but somebody said, did Portia did Nina deserve to be attacked by Portia? Like that was like the caption. And I was like, hold on. One, yes. But two, let's also like I love me and count. One and two. A and B. Um, so yes, and let's soften that language. Nina is not innocent and she is not a child. I
Mhm.
hate this idea like the big bad Portia deserve no. Nina is wild. And Nina did what she does to every single person that she does wrong.
Mhm.
First, she's apologetic, and the apology does not match the offense. I'm sorry being like, oh, I'm so sorry does not match you like throwing me under the bus with the cops. It just doesn't. And then when people are like, I'm actually not okay with what you did, she starts saying, well, maybe you were guilty. Maybe that like it this is across the board. Think about Carly. Think about what she did
Hmm.
to um, Portia. I don't know if you remember this scene when she got served the divorce papers from Diane, and Diane served her some divorce papers, and then she tried to be like, "And that's why you're lonely." This is like, like this is what Nina does every single time. So to me, yes, she did deserve it. And there's also not a competition or not a real comparison about what Nina will do for Willow versus what Portia will do for Trina.
Hmm.
These are not comparable things. Trina was a victim. Trina was also all the things that we have known about Portia. Trina was a child. Portia raised Trina. Willow is a grown woman who don't want nothing to do with you. And anytime you have an opportunity, you throw people under the bus for Willow. Every single time. People
Hmm.
that you're friends with, people that you're enemies with, you will throw anyone under the bus. I ain't forgot what you did to Sasha. Now, we had to, because it's not just her telling about who the baby is. Nina also knows what Willow did with Daisy.
Oh yeah.
So nobody knows where Sasha is. Nina presumably doesn't know that Sasha is even with Robert. So from what Nina knows, Sasha is alone, isolated with a newborn, without family, because your daughter did some wild stuff to her, and you have not opened your mouth to say anything.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, a couple years ago, they tried to redeem Nina and give her post Nixon Fall story on Sasha's back. I had to sit here and watch Nina cry into a salad over over Sasha having a breakdown at the home and heart.
Hmm.
We had to act like Nina had equal right to be crying with Gladys and Sasha over Brando. Like Nina has constantly centered herself in the worst moments in Sasha's life as if I love her like a daughter, but then you easily throw Sasha under the bus. So it's not surprising that you did that to Portia, but Portia had every right to go off on you and go off on you. She did.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about Nina.
Right.
Like it's just Willow puts herself in these positions to be defended. Trina has never done anything like the nonsense. Try not to cuss. The nonsense that Willow has done with Drew from start to finish, from cheating to marriage. Trina has never done anything like that. So when Portia, as her mother, steps in to defend her and to support her, it's nothing like Nina stepping in to do whatever that she feels like she needs to do for her ungrateful, ingrate daughter who don't want her no way.
Mhm.
That's how I feel about that. Do you have anything?
I'm just like, woman to woman, just outside of the whole kid thing, woman to woman, yes, she deserved it. Because she ratted her out and then tried to get all defensive and bitchy about it. I would have smacked her too. Now, what is funny is just like what my critique is that it seemed like Portia was like Nina was trying to get away and Portia pulled her in and was like, no, I said I wasn't finished. I wanted to see the rest of the fight, but we didn't get to see that.
Same.
I was like, damn, I wanted to see it. Good old, but I guess they didn't want a pregnant woman really to be fighting like that.
Okay. So let me also say this. Don't cancel me, everyone. I don't want Portia to have a baby. I was
Oh yeah.
hoping. Never. You all know what I was hoping. I don't have to say more.
Yes, don't say it. But that would have, you know what? I wasn't hoping it, but I was thinking, oh, that would have been a good storyline if Nina caused
That's my dream story, to be
if
honest.
Nina caused this and then, but whatever. I think they have other plans. It's gonna come out while Portia's on the stand that she's pregnant and Isaiah's gonna be in there and be like, Mama, Dad. I have a feeling that's what they're gonna do. But anyway,
My dream
they
story would
love
have
me.
been, y'all know what my dreams. I don't even have to say it. You know what my dream story would have been. And then it would have been Nina's fault, and I would have loved it.
Yeah. Right.
Would have lived for it actually. Would have started the show talking about it. Wouldn't have told y'all about my week.
Uh,
We wouldn't have started with what we crocheted, what we watched. We would have started with, I'm so happy. Like, don't cancel me, y'all, please. Give me grace. Guys not done with
uh,
me yet. So we have Curtis at the Ashford. So Portia did not go. That face is hilarious, y'all. If y'all are listening, which I love, and thank you so much for listening, you are missing out on some of the best Tanya faces this episode. Because when I said Curtis's name,
I can't.
so Portia decided not to go, obviously, to the Ashfords for Thanksgiving. She's working with her boo at the hospital, which I approve of, because I support Portia's rights and wrongs.
She ain't
So
wrong for not wanting to
she
be
ain't
there.
wrong. She ain't wrong. I support her rights and wrongs, and luckily she ain't wrong. But so she is not there. So Thanksgiving is on Stella, Hat Daddy, Trina, Kai, Curtis. Jordan walked her dizzy ass. Like the disrespect was t top notch. Trina, people are mad about Trina being all of her parents' business. I'm not particularly mad about that. I have something more on that, but Trina already told you she don't want you near her daddy. Portia, not even body ain't even cold on the marriage. And you thought it made sense for you to roll up with your East African warlord paid apartment greens, as if Stella couldn't make her own greens. That might be the
Right.
most offensive thing that you did.
Yeah, I was just to say that alone was an insult.
Stella said, she was like, I have the greens. Stella was like, I got greens. Stella
Right.
said, who the F do you think I is? As if she was Beyonce. What you mean you think I had no greens? That was wild.
Very.
I digress. But the Greens thing was crazy. I said, clearly somebody who was black did really write this. Somebody Googled what black people like for Thanksgiving, and then they wrote the Greens in. Because somebody black would have been like, I still already had her Greens. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't bring that. Bring a pie, girl. So
Yeah. Just
anyhow,
a hint to those who aren't black or watching. Do not bring a staple food that we like unless someone asks you to do
and someone asked you to do it.
it. Do not do it.
Showed up to somebody's house with turkey, like, oh, I didn't know if you were gonna have it.
Yeah, like,
What you talking about? Showed up to the spaghetti dinner, like, I bought pasta. We got that. Anyway, so as you can see, I'm offended. How dare you? So, anyway, we got it. All right, I'm giggly today. Sorry, y'all. We have Jordan show up. I still said she had her own greens. She don't need that. She peeped Trina's face and she said, okay, let me get up out of here. So she made an excuse to leave. And Curtis goes after her. Hat Daddy was like, this was messy. And him and Stella are talking loudly while Trina
Right.
is in another room with Kai. Trina finds out from this loud conversation between her messy family, which I loved. This was actually very true to form, that her mama was pregnant. Because who amongst us ain't been in grown folks' business at the family get together and find out something we ain't supposed to know?
That's when you find out the secrets
That's when you find out all the secrets.
through ear
So
hustle.
Trina finds out. Kai is gagged because I'm already like, Kai, you lucky you was invited again because the last time you was here, you was doing too much.
Right.
So Trina's gagged. She goes out. She's like, "My mama's pregnant." Goes out, and then she sees Curtis tonguing down Jordan. I need to know what you were thinking when all of this occurred.
Oh, it was wild. And I was like, ain't nobody gonna eat dinner tonight. And it's just like, oh, so much happening at the same time. Yeah, I was just like, first of all, Portia is like, I'm trying to keep this a secret. Everybody knows, except for Isaiah.
And Trina,
He's
I
the
mean,
only.
right? Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. So now Trina knows, and she's shocked. And I'm. That's the only thing I'm upset is that she didn't get a chance to actually confront Curtis and Jordan. But yeah, there was a lot going on that she had to, come to terms with. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see her come to terms with it with her actual family. She just had to talk to Kai about it. But that was and that was a wild, very wild Thanksgiving for the Curtis family. Ah, good times
Yeah,
though.
yeah. So Trina goes out and
Mm.
she sees that she's about to go off, but then in comes AI Nathan
With the popo.
with the popo,
Um,
and he said, "We need you to come with us." After a lot of rigmarole, Curtis goes down to the police station. Jordan up in the interrogation room with him
like
like
she a
she a
lawyer.
lawyer.
Like she got a law degree. Like she's like, I'm gonna go in there and be a witness. When has that ever been allowed to happen? When someone's being interrogated, that they get to have a witness in there with them. I have never seen that, especially not a black man. But whatever,
No.
he gets to have a witness in there with him. That's wild.
Wildness. And then they getting on, well, you this and you that. And AI Nathan, I'm like, this is embarrassing, Black Hospital, because AI Nathan is giving it to y'all. We don't know where this man has been for the past however many years.
Right.
This Faison son, this Liesel Obrecht son, and he is giving it to y'all. Like the screws to y'all. So we see a little bit of a misdirect because we get this flashback. Queen Lydia Look as Selena Wu is back, and we see Curtis talking to her about putting a hit out on Drew. And I said, "Well, well, MF and well, not Mr. Honesty, not Mr. You gotta tell me everything so we can make this relationship work." Out here putting out hits
Right.
because every time, like, because I haven't forgotten, I ain't forgot Curtis. You be lying every time it come to Selena Wu. Did
Every
did did
time.
Portia know that you was doing illegal card games in the back? Why you always want to talk about honesty? Did
Nobody
Portia
knew that.
know that you was
Right.
putting out hits, and then even worse than that, you punked out because you couldn't even go through with it? Here come Jordan. You are a good man, Savannah.
Savannah. Is that from? First of all, like, yeah, I didn't like this. She's like, I don't believe it. You would have never done that. That's just not you. I'm like,
But he
and
would
when
do
she first,
it.
he would do it. And the first thing she said was when he said, yeah, I was visited by Selena. She was like, oh, you can't stand Selena. I was like, girl, he has been Selena's partner from the get. Selena is the reason why he has that club in the first place. Nobody knows. And he's like, I have to be honest with you. You ain't being fully honest with the person that you want to be honest with. That is how much of a hypocrite Curtis is. He's horrible.
Ain't been honest with your wife, but gonna be honest with your side girl. Okay. All right.
Almost honest. He's only been 75% honest with her.
That part. So we also, I loved that Portia pops up because she heard what happened. She came down like, I'm gonna help. She
hmm
seen Curtis and Jordan together. She said, "Oh, I'm out of here. He got it."
hmm Apparently, I'm not
Jordan,
needed here.
Portia, that's not your man, and that's
Mm-mm.
okay because you know who is your man? Isaiah's finance. Get out of here. We're done.
My hot take was here I am thinking it was Hat Daddy that was gangster, and instead they have Curtis being gangster. And then
Fake gangster.
I said I wish it was Hat Daddy. I really wish it was him that did it. I would have been so satisfied with that storyline. If Hat Daddy was like, I'm gonna call Selena Wu and we're going to kill this man because he's messing with my family and I don't like it. That would have been satisfying to me.
We also have had a lot of Marshall back, so I mean, who's to say it has
Right.
not? It is the Hat Daddy who did it himself and messed it up. Um, but so Curtis's whole thing was he paid $1 million. I was like, oh, Aurora must be paying well
I
because
know. I'm like, where
I
you
know
get
you
a
ain't
million
pay,
dollars?
I know you ain't pay for no hit with Portrait Money. So he like has this hit put out that
hmm
apparently he's doing over via wire transfer. Like Curtis is on his laptop cash apping attempted murder. Like, what are we doing? So he said he had to go back to Aurora to cancel the transfer because you could only do it from the computer you did it on in the first place. Curtis, why did you do it on Aurora's computer in the first place?
Lies.
When he tells
Lies.
Jordan this, at first she mad. She's like, "How, you made me an accessory." No, Jordan, you made yourself an accessory because you can't mind your business. East African warlord out here running amok, and you acting like you can't find no information, but you all up in Curtis's business.
Oh my God, if I was Laura, I would be so pissed at Jordan right now. She she has basically made it possible for Sidwell to carry on this mess. And she's supposed to be in there spying, and she's too busy being all up in Curtis's world to actually do her job.
Come on, come on,
Crazy.
a mess. So that's what we got. We will find out more, I guess. There was a mystery because they really made it seem like for like almost 2 days that it could have been Curtis. But it also feels like now we're back at square one with not knowing who it was.
hmm
Wrap this up by the end of the year, please.
Right.
Let's get into Mom Hospital. You brought up Jabrit. So I said I loved these scenes between Spinelli and Jason. They're at the Brown
hmm
Dog talking, and Spinelli is pouring his little heart out about Maxie. Ugh, my whole Spixie heart. I know people are Naxie fans. I am not Naxie fan. I am Spixie fan. And Curtis, wow. Spinelli is, you know, letting his heart, like telling Jason everything.
hmm
Meanwhile, Brett is getting lit in the corner with Cody.
Acting a fool.
I was like, we hated it the first time. Let's not do it now. At the same time, Scout is at the Davis girls' house, or with the Davis girls at Alexis's house. They push Molly to go meet up with Cody. So Cody is missing Molly because apparently he texted her, wanted her to come. Molly missed the text. Da da da. That's why he's talking to Brett. Britt is drunk, belligerent, falling over him. Jason sees it. Britt kisses Cody at the same time that Molly is walking in. Also, forgot to mention that Brent had asked him to dance or put on a song, and he put on the same song he had put on while he danced with Molly. So Molly looking at it like, oh, so you this your move. You just put on this song, and this what you do to the girls. Whatever.
She didn't get the kiss though.
She did not get the kiss.
So that's double.
As
That's
Molly,
like doubly insulting.
yes. Molly leaves before saying anything else. At that time, Cody pushes Brent off of him. Brent says, what's the problem? The chemistry was never our issue. It wasn't. We couldn't
But
tell. Um, Cody, Cody says he gotta go. Like that he will be there for her. He's happy she's not dead, but there is somebody else.
hmm
Meanwhile, Jason sees her. Spinelli, I know how you feel about Cody, but you have Spinelli talking up on Cody, like he's a good guy to James.
whatever.
Jason starts babysitting drug Brit, takes her back to her apartment over Kelly's, I'm sorry, Bobby's. Brit
hmm
is so drunk she cannot take her own medication, and Jason has to help her. I'm gonna pause there after the synopsis. Give me all of your Jabrit feelings. I need to know.
I just think she's acting hella childish and she needs
Hmm.
to stop. She wants to trust Jason. I know I said before she has a hard time because she grew up and didn't have the love and the care that she needed to, but she's a grown ass adult acting a fool in the getting drunk, hitting on some man, and then falling over, and she can't even do her medication. As an adult, you don't mess with stuff like that. You don't be drinking and then, be on a prescription. That ain't right. Second of all,
Hmm.
just acting a fool. She wants Jason. Jason has not pushed her away. She's pushing him away. I'm done with it. It's cute at first, but now it's not cute. And she needs to stop. Um, but Jason, someone does recaps on Facebook and he was like, Jason, did all the things without saying anything. Silent Jason all the time. And that's true. He silently helped her and then he's staying the night to make sure she doesn't, I guess get into a coma for her drunken stupor. But I'm thinking he's also staying because he wants to know what's going on with this medication. He's caught her in so many lies.
Right.
And he has every right to walk out on her and be like, "You're on your own. There's nothing I can
Hmm.
do for you." I
Right.
don't know if he's going to do that, but he has every right to at this point.
I mean, overall, my feelings on Jabrit is that they're not doing it well.
Mm,
Jason, whether I love him or not, is like a very beloved character. And nobody wants to see him with like a drunker, messier version of Sarah Brown's Carly when he's like 60 years old.
hmm
Nobody wants like that's not the story that people are excited to see. Um, and the version of who Brit was when they were doing Jabrit was Brit who was maturing.
hmm
Brit who was like on a journey, like she found out she had Huntington, she was trying to figure out what to do next with her life. That is the version of Brit that was in Brit. She was still, a little whatever she was, but she wasn't this. They wanted to bring back the bridge, but that is not who people want with Jason.
hmm
And so I'm never going to care about a Jason ship. The only Jason ship I've ever cared about is J Sam, but I'm not opposed to a Jason ship. It is what it is. Like I'm gonna watch it. It'll be it'll be whatever it is. So I'm not predispositioned to hate Jabrit, but I hate what's going on. I hate the way that Brit
hmm
is being written. It's too much mystery up in the air, and it's like mystery combined with her being obnoxious.
hmm
And I see her like fans and stands like being like, well, this is what happened to her, and this is that, and like she just saw somebody die, and she did this is Cesar Faison's daughter. I kind of don't want to hear about her trauma and like in this way. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not interested.
Yeah, they need to do better. She needs to grow up, do something.
So yeah. Well, that's what I got with that. I'm not a fan of what's happening so far, but we will see. The story needs to do better. And I also was not a fan of the fact that like that we didn't get a full Jason Spinelli scene where Jason was actually giving Spinelli all his attention because Britt was in the background. I also,
Hmm.
if they're gonna do Molly and Cody, just do it. Neither of these characters are on enough to be telling like these near miss stories. We've been near miss with them for what almost a year now or whatever it is. Like either put them together or don't.
Yeah, as far as Cody and Molly goes, I would be more interested in seeing a fallout of Molly finding out what happened to her dad more than anything. I think
Right.
that is a juicier storyline. It could have definite real repercussions for a relationship that Cody and Molly could have. I don't need to see this, adolescent storyline where, oh my God, I'm misunderstanding a kiss between him and another woman, or I missed a text and and so he doesn't think I like him, that kind of thing. That's not, they're too old for that.
Right.
Now, them being in a relationship and then her finding out that he knew that her dad was kidnapped, that's a real conflict. And that's a real
Mm-hmm.
discussion that they could be having. And they're
Mm-hmm.
not. And so I think, yeah, this is like you said, between Jason and Britt, that's the wrong story and they're doing it wrong. Same thing with Cody and Molly. They're doing it wrong. Um,
Right. Because I would rather, I mean, not rather, but I think the better story for them is them
mhm.
being in a relationship, is them being lovey-dovey, is us actually
Yeah.
seeing them like get into something deep and then
Uh-huh.
everything come out.
Thing coming out. Yeah,
There, it becomes less important about things coming out if they weren't close in the first place.
exactly.
So here we are, just more and more with them. It's just, you also called it about Kevin being home. I was like, oh, look at you. Stop being Joey Armstrong in Atlanta and finally came back to take care of your wife.
You
Kevin, no,
know
I'm just
what?
kidding.
He was still being Joey Armstrong because those phone calls was not from some patient. That was from his hussy in DC talking about where you at.
But I was happy to see him. And I also was like very happy because I'm a big Kevlar fan. I actually very
Yeah,
much love Kevin and Laura. So I was
yeah,
happy that she didn't lie to him, that she
yeah.
immediately told him the truth. Like he clocked, he was like, girl, you're my wife. What's up? I know something's wrong. And she
Yeah,
was like, you right. And then told him and has been open with him like the whole way. So I like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Um, we have Sidwell coming to her home.
Oh, shit. Oh.
And he has a picture of her and Sonny over Dalton's body. Also showing up, creepy congressman or councilman Ezra Boyle, who shows up because he's in it with Sidwell. And that essentially he is blackmailing Laura now and is saying, you about to be in my pocket. I also love when Laura was like, why don't I just step down and give it to Ezra? And he was like, people don't like him.
That
In
makes no
Ezra's
sense.
face. They've already rejected him. Why would we do that? Sidwell is so delightfully crazy. I very much enjoy it.
It's also very smart because it would be very sketchy for Laura to be meeting with Sidwell, but instead it would actually make more sense, even though her and Ezra are enemies politically. We see it all the time. Folks in politics be meeting with each other all the time. So it definitely makes more sense for her to be interacting with this other fellow political than to be messing with a South African crime lord. So
East
Sidwell is
African.
smart, East African. So Sidwell is smart. Now it's really wild and crazy that he had that angle of a photo. Like, what did he do? Did he like how did he do like they had a street camera or something? He got into the street camera system and was able to take a picture. It's crazy. But whatever. This is how we're suspending disbelief right now to believe the story.
Do you think that Nathan is in on it?
See, that's still the question is what is AI Nathan? Because Sidwell has a partner out there and we
Hmm.
still don't know who it is. And so a lot of people are like, is it Faison? Probably not. Faison is dead, but I think it may actually be Nathan. Because it's interesting that Anna gets kidnapped after telling Nathan that he can't be on the police force.
And then automatically Nathan gets on
And
the
then
police force.
he gets on the police force.
Yeah,
It's
true.
sketchy. And
Keep
Nathan is
thinking.
just too good.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. Look at you. Bam. That's very smart. Sidwell also makes his way over to Sunny, also with his blackmail info, and tells Sunny that if he kills him or Marco, then then everything will go public. So, you need to sell us your peers and stand down.
and that ain't it. Whatever I ask you to do, you gotta do it.
You
Then
gotta
the
do it.
funny thing is, I was just thinking, I was like, Jason told him, you need to kill this man. And Jason was right. Said Sonny chose not to kill him. And here he is, Sidwell, causing drama. But anyway,
Mhm.
is what it is. I bet Maurice Bernard and Carla Froder had a great time filming those scenes.
I know that Mo is having a great time with all his scene partners because speaking of, we have Rick coming over with the drink. He was like, "Look,
Right.
we not there at dinner yet, but have a drink with me." And they like make some sort of amends. And I will say that Rick Hurst and Maurice Bernard are so good together.
Hmm.
I was delighted. I
Yeah,
love
I
them
actually
so much
liked it.
together on screen.
Yes.
So we have Rocco show up because he is bad at his parents. Dante tells him that he cannot see Geo anymore, and Lulu agrees, and he leaves. I absolutely love. So he shows up. Rick is like, "Should I leave?" So he was like, "No, just go to the other room, chill for a second. It's all good."
He had the football
He
game on.
yes, settles it. And him and Rick come back together, and then Rocco's like, "Another thing, y'all are brothers. If somebody said y'all couldn't be around each other, what would you think?" And the two of the look, the
They were like,
history. This
like,
is only a story that you could tell on soaps. And it
hmm
means so much to people who have been watching the story of these two brothers for so long. Because it's to your point around like Leo when he comes in with the truth of these questions, having
yeah.
Rocco so innocently ask, "Y'all are brothers, how would you feel?" And then being like, "Well,
Well,
well, you say brothers."
actually,
Um, so Dante, again, I don't agree, and I actually hate that they still bring up the alcohol poisoning thing. And partly because I think that Dante has a lot of points, but they go overboard into making him not have a point. Gio never gave Rocco no alcohol. Gio was not at the party with Rocco. If you gonna say that Gio should have said something about Rocco being there, then we gotta say that Josslyn should have said something about Danny being there. all of this keeps like falling on them. But there also to me is something there about Geo not stepping up as a brother to Rocco. When you think about Danny and Charlotte, that's Rocco's brother and sister. He went to jail. They was like, we're gonna crash out, and if we gotta go to jail too, we all go to jail. Gio, when he told about his part, he didn't go to no lawyer. He didn't go to the cops. He went to like assuage his guilt. And he wanted somebody to be like, it's not your fault. Because if I come to you while your child is like in trouble, going to jail, whatever, whatever, and I say, hey, it was my fault, what kind of do you want the response to be?
Yeah, I mean,
You you wanted the response to be like, you're right, you didn't do anything wrong, whatever, whatever. And that's not what you got. So it's tough because Dante is wrong, but he ain't wrong.
hmm for me, Gio is at that age that we talk about when it comes to young adults. Like
Hmm.
their prefrontal cortex has not fully developed. And so he is thinking that he has the freedom to do all these things and get away with it and not thinking about other people and how his actions are going to have consequences for other people. Um, Technically, you're right in the sense that Gio did not put alcohol in Rocco's hands. Gio did not tell Rocco to go in and break into the animal facility. Gio is not necessarily leading him in this in through all these shenanigans the way that Dante is accusing him of. But at the same time, he has absconded responsibility as an adult. And all the while when Emma's like, "Well, I'm just going to ask Rocco to steal the keys." That's when he should have been like, "No, we are
Yep.
not going to have these kids steal keys for us to do this job." That's what he should have done. Like they should not have involved Rocco from the very beginning.
Right.
Even though Danny was the one that invited Rocco to this party, when he saw Rocco at the party, he should have been like, you should go home. No, he didn't do that. He does not know how to be an adult or a big brother. And you're
Yeah.
right. He's not
Yeah.
taking the responsibility that he should be taking. He's not thinking clearly. And when they did this whole animal shelter thing and was like, there's no place for us to go. First of all, you're not only thinking of how much trouble you were putting other people, why would you bring a whole bunch of dogs to a mobster's house?
Yep. I said the same thing.
I'm
When
like,
you could
what
have
were
taken him to
you?
the queues
Exactly, the boathouse. That's what I was thinking. They should have taken him there.
or with Cody.
Or with Cody. Yeah, in the horse stables. Why would you take him to your grandfather? Because he's already, suspicious just from the get. And you decide to take him over there, that was just stupid. No, he did not know that Rocco was there.
Sure.
But still, just the idea of taking him to that place he wasn't thinking at
Right.
all. And he's
What?
definitely, I mean, maybe Dante was right. Maybe he is thinking with
Yeah, I
his
mean he's
third
the
leg.
Emma is
Right.
his number one priority. But I will
Right.
also say, even when you talk about Danny, people held and were willing to hold Danny more accountable for bringing Rocco to that party. Like, oh, he's your little brother. He's this and that.
hmm
Than they have been willing to like allow Dante to hold him accountable for everything else he did. I
Right.
think part of the alcohol poisoning story, part of the problem with that is that it just wasn't played well
hmm
because what Geo did made sense. It's probably what I would have done at Geo's age because they didn't know
Yeah.
they were brothers yet. So I would have done at Geo's age with like two younger dudes who I lived with.
Right.
They're not 12. They're like teenage boys, older teenage boys. They do stupid stuff. You cover for them. You maybe yell at them after everything, but this is right. Like I go, I make sure you're recovered, make sure you're on your side, get you some water, whatever.
Mhm.
We didn't see, even as an audience, how sick supposedly Rocco was. We did not see the evidence of alcohol poisoning. So I think as an audience, if we would have seen the evidence of alcohol poisoning and then seen Gio choose to not do more about it, we as an audience would have felt differently. But I was taken off guard and aback as Gio was when he went to the hospital and was sick.
Mhm.
That was a storytelling choice that they did that I think just made Dante look ridiculous all over again for no like when it didn't need to be. And then you
Mhm.
fast forward to now, I don't think Dante's wrong. Dante, like Gio does put Emma above or above his brother. I don't think it should be like you can't see him, but I do think it's like if you see him, he coming over here. Like if you want to have a relationship with us, it's the same relationship that you have to have with Lisa or whoever else because y'all have not shown that you can have like some sort of unsupervised like relationship. But to be like you can't see him at all is kind of crazy. And
Mhm.
to hear him like compare it to Rocco, compare it to Drew, I think it's different, but that makes sense that that's how he sees it. That this is a person who loves me and that you don't want me to be around.
Mhm.
So when Rocco kind of leaves in his puff of smoke from Lulu's house before he gets to Sunny's house and says, "Well, you left me and mom before." I only it's hard for me to see that valid because we had so much of Rocco and Dante pre-Lulu of like when Lulu was in the coma. So I get Rocco having those feelings, but it's hard for me to believe that those feelings never came up. But I don't know. How did you feel about that?
Oh, I loved it. I love that
Okay.
Rocco
Yeah.
just read him for filth. I was like, damn. I was
Yeah.
like, that. I mean, Dante's mouth could get him into a lot of trouble, and apparently he's passed that trait on to Rocco. I love it. But it doesn't really surprise me just because Rocco has undoubtedly been through a lot of trauma. His mom in a coma, and he had to rely on Dante to some extent. Doesn't mean that he didn't have feelings about everything that happened beforehand. And so, now it's definitely his mom is back. His dad is being mean to him. And so, old harsh feelings comes out in the heat of anger. And the reason why I was glad is because somebody's giving it back to Dante because nobody else does that. Everyone's like,
Sure.
"Hey,
Walk on
you
eggshells.
shouldn't,
Yeah.
you shouldn't say that." And he was just like, "You ain't perfect. How dare you?" All of
Yeah.
that. So I was like, "Good, somebody's giving it back to him because, whew." And you know what? I think Sonny's like that too. When he's mad, he can tear folks a new one. So they all got it from Sonny. And here is Sonny, mellow
There you go.
granddad, being like, yeah, you need to calm down. You need to be a father. You need to do this. All the things that he wasn't, all the things he wasn't necessarily good at either. He wasn't the best son and he wasn't the best father, but now he's learning in his old and wizened
And
age.
he is the best granddad.
Yeah,
Um, I loved Dante's face when he walked in and saw the dogs.
right. He was just like
He did like
nonplussed.
one of these like he was over it.
Yes,
Um, and yeah, I mean, even the way Emma talked about it was like wild. She was like, "Well, we need to do like it was just like no understanding, no apology for like putting Rocco in
right,
that position and saying, yet again, this is another thing that we didn't think through. Yet again, this is another thing that we didn't whatever. Like she didn't do any of that. Gio and
right.
Emma have been. I'm glad this storyline is like wrapped up, and we have. She came here to do this thing with these dogs. Jocelyn apparently gave her the address. It's wrapped up. It's over, so that she could stop kind of being like a sociopath because she really made it seem like she felt like these dogs were more important than Rocco's freedom. And again,
Hmm.
if I'm Dante, I'm like, what is this? So Rocco, I also love Rick. So at first Rick is mad. He's like, "What are you
Right.
doing? You could get Rocco in trouble. I've worked all this way. I worked so hard." And then when Dante comes up, Rick is like, "Actually, I'm a lawyer, and they are absolutely justified in everything they did." I was like, "I know that's right, mob lawyer Rick. You better."
Right. Yeah, you definitely good. Yeah.
That was that was very good to me. Also
Mhm.
in Spy Hospital, Carly's still honeypotting.
Man.
Sh- Brennan is like, "Is that why your family is so mad at me they didn't come to?" Shut up, Brennan.
The
He
world does
encourages
not
her to
revolve
make
around you.
no. He encourages Carly to make amends with Lucas again, continues to encourage her to do that.
Hmm.
And he reaches out to Jocelyn. Um, he tells Jocelyn that he sent Vaughn away. And if she did some mess again, she would also send her away. And they end up having this realization in this call that Valentine had escaped. They didn't tell us who, but they were like, somebody escaped. And then we end and we see Valentine at Carly's house.
Hmm. Good. I mean, it
Love
was
it.
basically the week of guest actors. It
It
was like
was.
even it definitely. I actually I loved that Jocelyn was telling him, like you're using me against my own family, you're using my mom. And then, he's just being horrible. He's being a horrible WSB agent. And he even's like, we need to be able to get access to that technology not so we can destroy it and save the world, but so that we can use it for our own ends. So again, all these little things are happening. I hope again it culminates in Jocelyn saying, "This is not an organization I need to be involved in." I'm hoping that's what happens eventually because her boss is
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, it was always naive of Jocelyn to be a part of this. It's
Uh-huh.
bizarre about the way I'm always put off about the way people talk about Jocelyn. And it's
Hmm.
mostly because I'm a fan, so I get it. They're like
Right.
everything they were saying about her and the WSB in this accusatory way is the
Uh-huh.
story that was being told.
Yeah.
People were like, I can't believe it. She shouldn't be in here. Like, she didn't spend enough time in training. Story is
Yep.
she didn't spend enough time in training. She's naive. She's stupid. She shouldn't be a part of this. Story is that she's
That's the
naive.
story. Yeah.
And so it's like, what is the gotcha here? This is actually the story that she was used in this way.
Hmm.
Um, I found it to be I don't know what the end game is. I remember her they also had Jocelyn say something about like she wants to be the WSB to take Sunny down. So it would be interesting to me if like the way she
Yeah.
got rescued is because of Sunny.
Yeah.
I know that Eden hates being at odds with Sunny.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
I know that
okay.
Mo
Yeah.
loves him some Eden, so hopefully they can like figure this out. I don't need her to continue like her dad's like ridiculous vendetta against Sunny. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Especially because here you are, you have all of this like smoke about Sunny putting your family in danger, which is correct.
Hmm.
And you have now put your family in danger. So you are now seeing like what this looks like and how these decisions like impact and like impact people around you. So
Hmm.
I am not saying I don't think Jocelyn deserves to have smoke for Sunny. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's what that is. I have a couple of things I didn't touch too much on in hot takes. So do you want to start that or
Hmm.
do you have anything on what we've already talked about?
I've already talked about all my hot takes, so.
Cool. So didn't bring up that Laura had this dream.
Hmm.
I was happy to see like again Avery. I thought that was like an interesting. her showing up in this dream, Cyrus showing up in this dream. And I thought it was really
Hmm.
cool that they kept it under wraps because it was completely shocking to me that that happened.
Yeah. They did a good job keeping that a
hmm
secret.
hmm
Hmm.
But it also, to me, kind of signals that we are nowhere near getting any kind of Spencer recast.
Hmm.
Because, and I've thought that for a while, um, because they don't talk about Spencer. I said before they have Britt kind of harping on Rocco.
Hmm.
When Spencer was alive and him and Britt were like in town together, they always had scenes together. And
Hmm.
he had like a specific grief scenes when they thought Britt died. And we've literally not had Britt bring up one time, I'm sad that Spencer's gone. Even though she's got this beef with Emma, even though she's been around people who she could have mentioned Spencer to, that could have been a way for her to have a moment with Josslyn. They've done none of that.
Hmm.
And then when they have Esme come up, they don't bring that up to Laura either. Laura isn't even like, you're the reason that my grandson is gone. I'm not trying to hear from you. None of that. It's all about her guilt and like Ace being upstairs and all of that. So to me, it just showed that the show is not interested in doing any kind of Spencer recast. Some of that makes sense to me. I think that you need some Cassadines for Spencer, and so if you recast Spencer, you also need to bring back Nicholas and then maybe one other Cassadine. But it just was something I thought about. You don't even have Trina mentioning like missing him on the holiday. We did have her. She's solidly back with Kai.
Hmm.
Nothing.
Nah.
Yeah. Um, I thought it was something also that I noted is that there'd always been these conversations that Trina and Jocelyn's friendship was one-sided. I never agreed with that, but I know that was like the conversation because Jocelyn couldn't tell Trina so many things.
Hmm.
Um, and it was always very secretive. And so I was like, oh, now we have the scene with Jocelyn and Trina, and both of them are holding secrets. And so I thought that was interesting, and I would love a scene. I'm invested in their friendship. I think their friendship is very special. I think their friendship is like one of their best relationships for both of these characters, if I'm being honest. Um, so I get the frustration that Jocelyn never told Trina everything, but I also understand that if she would have, there would have been frustration that she was putting Trina in danger.
Yeah.
So thought that was interesting, like, and just like now look at we are where both of these characters are still love each other, still besties, and both of them are holding back really like important secrets. I think that might be all I got. Um, yeah, that's all I got. You want to hop into previews for next week?
Yeah.
Monday, Carly takes a big risk. That's probably something with Valentine. Alexis receives a warning. Lulu is alarmed. I think that's also Valentine. I saw like a little thing where them talking about it, and Dante thinks that Valentine's gonna come try to get Charlotte.
Yeah.
Um, Marco romances Lucas. Lucas, baby. I need that apology to be as laws and disrespect when all this comes out.
Hmm.
Brennan briefs Jocelyn. Tuesday, Jason watches over Britt. Lulu is livid. Sunny and Laura compare notes. Charlotte is relieved. Justine details her plan. Wednesday, Nathan makes an arrest. Alexis puts Willow to the test. Sidwell makes an offer. Portia panics. Michael asks Christina for help.
Mm.
Thursday, Michael and Jacinda grow closer. Willow gets her hopes up. Nina gets an eyeful. Drew gets a shocking offer. Molly shares a secret. And Friday, Britt is moved. Jason is frustrated. Chase stands his ground. Dante and Nathan make a discovery. Brooklyn is torn.
Mm.
We shall see what happens. Well, friends, make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, we would love it. That is part of the way I'm able to go see Stone Cold and the Jackal tomorrow, and I will give you updates. I might just like shoot like a little live video or something from it, just to give updates so I don't forget them. Um, yeah. Oh, and merch is in the description. Is there anything
Yay.
else?
Nope. Have a good
All
week,
right.
y'all.
Have a good week, y'all. Stay warm if you're in a cold place. And send warm thoughts if you're in a warm place. Bye, y'all.